Hello everyone, and welcome back to Vol.5. Today we are checking out a brand new, and I mean very brand new, DLC by Skyhook Games. You've probably heard of Skyhook's cargo line series by now. The first one was tankers, the second one was aggregates wagons, the third one was intermodal wagons. I don't have the first three, but the fourth one, the one that just came out 40 minutes ago as I'm recording this, caught my eye. Cargo Line Vol.4 Military involves using KWA Warwell wagons, which are new to the game, carrying armored personnel carriers and or trucks on either Preston to Carlisle or Great Western Express. And this is actually the first time I've ever been excited for a gameplay pack. This actually looks incredible. So first of all, let's have a look at the stuff you get for Great Western Express. The scenarios first, so you get 3 scenarios for Great Western Express. Warminster MOD to Shoeburyness MOD. Join a service conveying military equipment to the site in Shoeburyness for mechanical works following use overseas. The next one, Shoeburyness to Marchwood. Climb aboard this service hauling military equipment for commissioning in the south. And then it's Bicester to Shoeburyness. You've been rostered to haul military equipment across along the Thames Valley and across London. So then the services you get for that. Now bear in mind, you cannot, the DB Class 66 from WCML South is included. You may notice there are now 2 DB Class 66s. You cannot select the WCML South version because if I search military, it doesn't turn up. However, if you then go back and click this version, yeah, you get a totally separate version of the 66 in the timetable. You get a total of 6 services from Reading to Acton Mainline Yard, and they take about half an hour on average. Now, if we go to Preston to Carlisle, and go to the scenarios, you get 3 scenarios. The first one is Longtown to Heysham Harbour. The second one is Kiddington to Longtown, or Kyneton, I don't know. And then it's Glen Douglas to Bicester. Yeah, it's basically just 3 normal services. And then if we go to timetable mode, you'll now see that there is a totally different timetable. It just basically just copies the services from the normal timetable. Now, the reason they did the reason Skyhook did this is because Just Trains were like, we don't want you guys cluttering up our timetable. If we want to change it, we don't want your stuff getting in the way, which I feel is like, yeah, that works. So yeah, it's just normal services. You may notice I do have a War Department Black Flying Scotsman mod. Anyway, so if we go and select the Class 47 and search military, oh goodness gracious, we get a total of 8 services, each of the Carlisle Kingmore to Preston. Yeah, it's a full run of the route from Preston to Carlisle Kingmore Depot and vice versa. So yeah, we will be doing Preston to Carlisle today. So oh goodness, Charlie 01 is the service we will be doing today. Let's select it and let's get started. So right here we are at Preston Station in the magnificent Class 47, number 562 Sir William Burrell, or Burrell, I don't know. Yeah, we are going to do a full run of Preston to Carlisle. The service will be terminating at Carlisle Kingmore, and here we go. Here's my genuine first look at the KWA Warwell wagons. I must say, the weathering is like chef's kiss on whoever did this weathering, because these things don't look like new, like a lot of the wagons in this game do. They look used, they look dirty, they look as though they've been transporting stuff for donkey's years, and I love it. I absolutely love that they look absolutely beaten down. And as far as I know, they also have dynamic suspension, as far as I know. So yeah, like, Depth of field, I should probably increase that so everything's in focus. Like, danger, overhead live wires, and like the rust, the steel pitting, the three-dimensional suspension, which is always a plus point, which it's a rare. That's definitely a rarity in this game. Like Skyhook has done a superb job on making these wagons look absolutely just brilliant. Now, you do get two types of cargo with this thing. The first one, which is the one that we have today, are a generic armored personnel carrier, or APC, which does look pretty good. Again, these things do not look new. They look scarred, pitted, weathered. Like, yeah, and they're also, the straps as well also look pretty dang good. Like, look at that! Oh, also, before I forget, full disclosure, I did pay full price for this. However, I did get a slight bit of money off because I own GWE and I was able to get it. There's like a bundle where you can get Great Western Express and Carlisle Vol.4 Military together in a bundle. So I just bought the bundle and got a slight discount. For those on Steam, I highly recommend doing it. So yeah, we're carrying APCs today. The other cargo type, which I forgot to mention, is trucks. You do get some trucks with this thing. So yeah, let's hop out. I do have some mods running, so this is not like the default experience. Let's get everything running. I have wanted something more to do with the Class 47 on this route. There isn't a whole lot to do on this route with the 47 by default. So yeah, let's have a look at the KWAs. You can hear the brakes releasing. That's so cool. So yeah, can I apply the handbrake? Oh, so okay, this is an indicator. I was rolling backward. Hang on, I need to apply the brakes. Oh my goodness, that would have been bad. That would have been so bad. Initial application, there we go. I can now release the handbrake on this thing. There we go. Is there anything else that's interactive? These things, yeah, the KWA war wells, as you can see, because they're included in Great Western Express, there goes an 87, they are included in the, they are still in service today, and they're not just used for military use. I have seen photographic evidence of these things running, with, like, civilian front loaders and other heavy civilian equipment. So yeah. So yeah. I'm impressed by this pack just by the visuals, man. So I wonder what our timetable is for today. So we've got to go, oh, it's direct all the way to Kingmore. I'm guessing that's because we're military. We're a military conveyance, we're given higher priority. Can I remove the Bardic? No, I cannot. Go via Carlisle Platform 3 in 80 miles. That is ridiculous, right? Let's leave you online. No, wrong way. Listen to that. You can hear the brakes releasing. Let's turn the throttle on, just to make sure we don't roll backward. Let's give her some more welly. Oh yeah. Let's listen to these wagons. Let's go further back so we can't hear the 47. Ooh. Can I tell if these things have dynamic suspension? I'll probably be able to tell at higher speeds. Oh, they sound good. I haven't really been a fan of, as you probably know by my classic rants, I haven't been too much of a fan of gameplay packs over the years. Simply because they often don't add anything new to the game. Skyhook is demonstrating how gameplay packs should be done by giving us a totally new, completely different type of gameplay that we've never had before. And judging by the next cargo line that has been leaked and confirmed to be coming out, it should become even better. The next cargo line slated for release is cargo line Volume 4. No, not Volume 4. Volume 4 is military. Volume 5 is nuclear. So we assume, but it's not been confirmed yet, that it's going to have FNA wagons. And also it will have, it might have a direct rail services class 20. There's St. Walburg's Church as we depart Preston. And it appears we're limited to 60 miles an hour. No wonder it's good. Oh yeah. Who said the British military was out of date? These things are cool, man. We've needed military wagons in this game for so long now, and to finally have them in the game. Honestly, I do play a couple of military sims. Like, I have been known to play DCS World, and I have been known to mess about with the Avro Vulcan on Flight Sim 2020. So to get to haul around military stuff in TSW, man, this is awesome. Just a pity we're limited to 60. Are these what? So yeah, I know we're in a separate timetable, but the surfaces are identical to the normal Preston to Carlisle timetable, so we should see all of the surfaces that we normally see. Okay, wait a minute, now that we're at 50 miles an hour, I know it's very hard to tell, but that's dynamic suspension working. Awesome. This, back in the day, back in this time period, a lot of the things about the British military were still considered, well, secret, put that in air quotes, because the Official Secrets Act classified a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to be classified, so I'm highly expecting this thing wouldn't appear on any normal timetable rosters. Right, 50 miles an hour, let's start bringing the speed back. I still think that the longest service on this route, we're not, despite the fact we're going all the way from Preston to Kingmore, this is still not the longest service that you can do on this route. I think the longest service that you could do goes from Kingmore down to Preston with TEA tankers in the class 47, and because that thing gets looped quite a bit, it takes 2 hours and 50 minutes to complete, which is ridiculous. And who would sit in their chair for 3 hours? Who would sit in their gaming chair for 3 hours and play that service? That's a bit ridiculous, if I'm being honest. Listen to those wagons. Yeah, you can definitely tell that the dynamic suspension is at work. Look at that. Oh boy, Class 87. Double Class 87. Let's see. Holding with BBA steel wagons. We've got 87020 North Britain and 87022 Cocker the North. Alright, shut. One thing that Skyhook is doing by by making a separate timetable is they're committing to updating that timetable every time there is a new let's say, locomotive update. The Class 86 for this route is not too far away. So, yeah. Man. Normally, on cargo services of the Class 87, I'm limited to, what is it, 75 miles an hour? I've never been limited to 60 miles an hour. These Warwell wagons are slow. At least it allows me to drink in the absolutely gorgeous scenery that this route has to offer. Oh, hello. Let's go up ahead and get like a proper fly past shot with the Warwells. Yeah, like the sounds of these wagons, they sound as far as I can tell, and I'm no expert, they do sound custom. Like, this is, as I said before, this is how gameplay packs should be done. Like, adding a completely new type of content to the game. Like, no, I don't want that, I want the window. My goodness, the 47 is bouncy. Man, I know this is a bit... I know some people are probably not going to approve because it's a gameplay pack. It only adds a new type of wagon and yeah, like, I can hear the complaints coming in already, but personally, I'm going to ignore those complaints because I like this pack and I'm not going to let that stand in my way. So take that. I just like listening to these wagons, if I'm being honest. Like, listen to that. Thankfully, we aren't seeming to struggle with keeping at line speed, because one thing I am worried about is getting a 47 with some very heavy wagons and vehicles up Shap. And I know... Oh, there's the... I forgot to track this on third rails. No! That could have gotten me so many miles! Dang it! That's so annoying. Guess I could start tracking from here. I'll just quickly hit the pause button. Apologies for anyone watching. Just give me 2 seconds. Alright, let's start service. Prepare new service. Train number is... I honestly forget what the train number is. What is it? 47562. 47562. 47562. Origin. Preston. Kingmore Yard. British Railways for the operating company. Let's go. Alright, so now it should be tracking, I hope. Can't believe I forgot to track this on third rails. I guess I was just too excited to start driving these things. Oh dear. It's going to be uphill basically all the way from here. Actually, no, not from here. From Hest Bank all the way up to Shap Summit. So, yeah, we are basically paralleling the M6 off to the M6 motorway off to the right at this point. I do love having more things to do with the 47. It is definitely underused on this route. If you really want to have a route with lots of Class 47 gameplay, get Blackpool branches. But, hey, I'm just glad it's included. $69 miles to Carlisle. Nice. Well, that's just to go via. That's not even where we're finishing up. So does it actually say Kingmore Yard down recess siding 1? Can I identify that at this distance? Come on. Let me zoom out. So let's have a look. Kingmore Yard down recess 1. Ah, it's not labeled. Oh well. Line is clear. Presumably the reason why we're not getting looped is because this train is higher priority because it's carrying military cargo rather than your like bog standard containers or steel coils or things like that. driven 100 miles in the Class 47. Nice. Oh man, this is the gameplay pack I've been needing for a very long time. How much further to Lancaster? That's what I'm wondering. Quite a bit further. We have to get all the way to Carlisle, and we haven't even got to Lancaster yet. Goodness gracious. We have done about 15 miles of the 20 miles it takes to get to Lancaster, though, so that's always a good thing. Oh, looks like there is another Class 87. Looks like it's a parcel, new mail one. There's a Hampson Green interchange on the M6, according to the Third Rail's map. One good thing, though, is that I don't think we'll have to slow down from 60 miles an hour unless we have a train in front of us, because I think the lowest speed limit for conventional trains on this line is about, I don't remember, about 85 miles an hour? Something like that. Alright, coming up on a crossing loop, which is unlabeled. Awesome. "100 kilometers to Carlisle," but remember that's in a straight line, and we don't go in a straight line from Oxenham to Penrith. The line does diverge quite considerably off to the east. Passing the campus of Lancaster University off to the off to the right, just over there.
One thing I'm worried about is the hill up to Shep Summit. It's not exactly a light cargo we're hauling. Military vehicles are notoriously heavy.
Oh, hello. Signal, double yellow signal. I think I can slow down. I think the brakes on these war wells are pretty powerful. However, what is causing the holdup? Oh, there's a Class 101 coming in on the Morecambe run. I think he should be out of the way, though, by the time you get through, so I don't think we have to worry about slowing down for that signal. Yep, we now have a clear signal through Morecambe. 75 limit now in force. I mean, not Morecambe, it's Lancaster. We're not going to Morecambe. We're going nowhere near the Morecambe. We are passing the Morecambe branch, but we're not going. Oh my goodness. Coming into southern Lancaster. Yeah, FPS dropping as I get closer to Lancaster. Lovely. Let's do a fly past shot through Lancaster, why don't we? Over the bridge at Lancaster North Junction. Oh yeah, look at that. What a magnificent bridge. My goodness, why is my FPS falling? Why did my FPS just fall through the floor? Another train loading in? No. Odd.
goes the Morka branch off to the left. There goes a 87. There goes, here comes the north part of the north branch. Approaching Hestbank, which is, as you might know, is the only part of the WCMO where you can actually see the sea. And stop right there. Let's get a good screenshot. Reduce the depth of field a bit. And let's add some motion blur. Uh-oh. I can see an issue. Why is the APC affected by the motion blur, but the wagon isn't? That seems to be a bit of an issue. Hopefully Skyhook can fix that. It's a minor one, but I still hope Skyhook can fix it. However, that is the first issue that I've come across today, which is always a good thing when you don't come across issues like immediately. So yeah, it's uphill all the way from here to Shap Summit. Carn forth in a few miles. And then after that, the real climb begins. welly. Oh, hello, there's another train over here. It's turbot wagons, headlined by a class 40, and then there's a class 45 over there. Nice. Here's Camforth. Ah, got turned around. Alright. Everything appears to be good on OBS. Gradient has climbed to 0.7%. Here's where the Carnforth is where the real climb does begin. Another 87 with Mark IIs. Much farther to Oxenham? Maybe 10 miles. 50 miles to Carlisle. Lovely. I wonder if there's anyone, some poor soul stuck behind me. No, good. Gradient increase. As far as I can remember, it's basically a steady climb from here all the way up to Sham. Still climbing. I think this is one reason the 47 isn't often used on this route. Trying to get over Shap in a diesel is quite tough. I can't imagine how they did that in the Steam days. They must have had specially designed locomotives for this summit, because even diesel locomotives have trouble getting up this hill. No wonder the WCML is electrified. There's the M6. Actually, sorry, no, that was the A590. My apologies. Oh boy. No, not the driver's brake. Oops. I did not mean to hit the driver's brake. I meant to hit the loco brake. Mistake. Oxen home coming up in a mile or so. Let's see. Let's get the camera positioned nicely. Right. 40 miles to Carlisle. So what is this service again? Kyneton or Kinneton? I'm guessing Kinneton to Glen Douglas. That's full throttle. Up the hill we go.
Still climbing. Oh, another 87. With another mail train. Nice viaduct. Coming up on the Grey Rig Loop. Apologies. 80 limit coming into force, but does it affect me as we're already limited to 60? paralleling the M6 for a few minutes. Oh, another 87s, Mach 3s. Those hills on the right are an average, like the peaks are an average altitude of about 500 meters. By my personal standards, because I'm Japanese and have seen peaks over 300, it's not, sorry, I was about to say 300,000 meters. That's obviously ridiculous. That would be way too high, but I have seen peaks well over 3,000 meters, so 500 meters is, to put it bluntly, peanuts. We haven't even reached Shap Summit yet.
Is this T-Bay goods loop? Yeah, it is. I think this is one of the only goods loops which you can transport to using the selecting this thing here. It's a bit ironic what routes have been chosen for Cargo Line Volume 4 military, because Preston to Carlisle and Great Western Express, they're like the best and the worst British routes respectively. It's pretty funny juxtaposition when you think about it. However, what was it? This thing, 1.3%. How far to Shap? How far to Shap Summit? Not too far, maybe like 3 miles. My future videos, I plan to do this run in the Flying Scotsman. That will be really difficult, especially as I plan on doing that in the snow. Yeah, I'm losing speed even at full throttle. This is not good. Not much further to Shap, maybe 2 miles. I think I'll make it. Thank goodness. almost there. Alright, here we go, Shap Summit, 30 miles to Carlisle, and from here it's all down, from Shap Summit it's all downhill, pretty much. There it is, there's the Shap Summit sign. Try saying that 5 times fast. There's some sea cow wagons off to the left. Alright, after this signal, we start going downhill. Wait a minute. What were those? Oh, donkeys! Huh. Odd. What are they doing there? I never noticed that before. Right. Here we go. 0.8% downward gradient. But at least this side of Shap is not as steep as the other. Oh, 47. Large logo 47. There's Hardendale Quarry off to the right. Nice. At least the loco brake seems to be holding us in check for now. Yeah. I'll say this before and I'll say it again. I think Skyhook have done an absolutely superb job on this pack, apart from one thing. They need to fix the way the motion blur works with the way the cargo is loaded in photo mode. However, that is I must say, a very, very minor defect. And so far, I haven't found anything else which is like game-breakingly terrible about this pack. I could already highly recommend it, and I haven't even given this a go on Great Western Express yet. Passing by the town of Shap.
Passing under the A6. How much farther to Penrith? A bit further. At least we don't have a time to get to Kingmore. That's always good. There's a scenario which involves taking a 47 and towing a failed 87. It's right, the 87 fails right around this loop, this crossing loop right here. There's Harrison's sidings off to our left. I don't think those are ever used in timetable mode. I think they just exist. Don't know why they're there, but they're there. Ah. That excavator was added as part of a recent update. Passing by the Shep Beck limestone quarry. Passing under the M6 again in a minute. "25 miles to Carlisle."
another 87. And C87 with steel wagons. Goodness. These specific set of points always make the train wobble violently on the suspension, and I don't know why. Only a couple of miles to Penrith. Miles to Carlisle. And that's not even the end, we have to then get down to Kingmore Yard. Under the never mind. Over the M6 again. And now heading over the River Loughborough. Whee! Such a cool viaduct, man. Speed limit goes down to 75 through Penrith, but that doesn't matter because we're limited to 60 anyway. On Penrith. up on Penrith. Over the M6 again. Neutral section imminent, but that doesn't matter because we're in a diesel. Penrith is the last stop before Carlisle. 17 miles to the go via at Carlisle platform 3, where the 4 Sierra 89 is right now. And then there's and then we got to get up to King. Direct is it from Penrith to Carlisle? Oh, relatively direct, okay. 15 miles to go to Carlisle. Passing under the B5305. Oh goodness. Excuse me.
I wonder if I'm holding any other trains up behind me. No, doesn't look like it. Miles to Carlisle. We're almost there. We've covered just over 7/8 of the trip up to Carlisle, but then we do have a couple of miles to go after Carlisle up to Kingmore, of course. The next add-on I would like to see after the Class 86 that come to Preston to Carlisle is the APT, the British Railways Advanced Passenger Train, which was allegedly capable of 140 miles an hour, was tilting, it was fully electric. We already have it in TS Classic, and that was for the WCML over Shap route that in Train Simulator Classic. So, and since this Preston to Carlisle is set in 1986, the APT was still running timetable services on the WCML in that time period, albeit only a year away from retirement. It was obvious that the program wasn't viable. But why, like, come on, Just Train, surely you could smell a good money-making opportunity. Miles to go. I haven't experienced any adverse signals except that one while heading up that I had just before Lancaster, because that the service from Morecambe was crossing over my track. Just under 8 miles to go. 7 miles to go. It won't be too much longer until we start. Oh, I did not mean to hit that button. It won't be too much longer until we start getting into like the outskirts, like the outlying yards around Carlisle. There's like 5 or 6 like separate yards scattered around Carlisle that the player can access, that we can access. I mean, which is frankly nuts considering how considering how many trip workings we can do. I wish there was a service where we could shunt military wagons, but I don't think we have any Ministry of Defense, what was the word I was looking for? I don't think we have any Ministry of Defense, complexes, buildings, whatever, can't think of the word, in TSW, as a matter of fact. No. There we go. Just had a bit of an issue. Five miles to Carlisle. Oh, another 87. Noise. There's no one behind me, thank goodness. Because I would not want like a express service to be stuck behind me, because the Ministry of Defense thinks my train should be higher priority than it should than an express train, which I guess makes sense. There's an interchange coming up on the right for the M6, like just over that direction, like maybe about a half mile. That's called, yeah, over that direction. That's called, and I'm not joking, Golden Fleece. Who does he think lives there? Jason and the Argonauts? For goodness sake. Why is it called that? Any Carlisle locals, please let me know down in the comments. Why is that junction called Golden Fleece? And it's number 42, which everyone knows is the world's best number. Any Douglas Adams fans will absolutely know what I'm talking about. Expect the frame rates to start diminishing as we get closer to Carlisle and all the yards and the stock and the station itself and the stock and the station start loading in. 3 miles to Carlisle. Man, this is the first time I've driven the Class 47 the full length of the route. And I must say, I'm surprised I was able to do that. We're beginning to come into the suburbs of Carlisle. I'm so glad I haven't had to use the train brake. The loco brake seems to be in at least this direction, heading up toward Carlisle, seems to be enough to keep the whole train in check. Frame rate's starting to go down. Lovely. Two miles to Carlisle to the go via anyway. We have a 75 limit coming up, which doesn't really affect us. We do have a 20 limit coming up. And adverse signaling, I think, so I'll put the local brake on full. It's a bit early to put the driver's brake on. I'll just put have the local brake take us in. Holy crud. Yeah, I told you the frame rate wouldn't be pretty. Got stock. What stock we've got at the upper B area? Not much. Not much at all. .75 limit in force. Some cement wagons and some ballast wagons on the side. Alright. My goodness. Why do we have to slow down to 20 through Carlisle? All passenger services do stop here, so that's probably why. Yeah, it looks after Carlisle, we have a tad of a red signal. We've got a single yellow coming into Carlisle. Couple of, yeah. If there's anything that really drains the frame rate for some reason, it's multiple diesels in. Oh, it's a Northern Trans Pennine 47 with no high-intensity headlight. We've also got an Intercity, the Royal County of Berkshire. My father's side of my family hails from Berkshire. Nice. There's another steel train, and then there's also a 47-hole train with Mark IIs. Is that the rail tour? No, it's not. I need to start slowing down. I need to give time. Oh my goodness, frame rate. I need to give time for the go via to flip to green. Otherwise, I'll run the red signal, and then all will have been for naught. Come on, come on, come on! Alright, next. I know I didn't have to stop, but that signal was showing red and I thought it meant like proper red, but the track monitor shows yellow, so. Give it 50% welly. Next up, Kingmore Yard Down Recess Siding 1, which is... let's have a look. Past Kingmore... Oh! It's this small side yard. Interesting. Just make sure all the points are set correctly, because I've got automatic set manual junctions on, but sometimes it just won't do that for some reason. It won't let me manually set the points. It'll just have me manually do the points anyway. There's another 40 over there. We do have a red signal coming up though, and I don't know why. Right.
see it. What seems to be the problem here? Nothing I can see as far up as Kingmore. Hopefully frame rate will improve as we start to get away from Carlisle. Oh, hello. It's a little Class 08. Doing 0 November 01 North Pilot shunting. Woof. Oh, signal has changed green. We are clear onto the next section of line. Alright, I still need to stick to 20 for now in order to avoid going over the speed limit. We have 2 miles to do at 20, 30 to 25 miles an hour. Ugh. That's annoying. Hey ho. Apologies for that. I was just checking to see if the recording was working properly. Very briefly cleared me up to 60 before putting me back down to 20, presumably because I'm getting on this little sideline here. I'm getting sidelined! Oh, that's a terrible joke. Yes. Alright, onto the little diversion line. Alright, and then we're getting shunted even further onto this line. Oh! That scenario marker is for one of the military runs. Why? Odd. Why is it there? Very odd. Let's give it some welly. Up to 25 miles an hour. I won't go up to 30 because then I'll have to slow down again immediately, and I obviously don't want to do that. .4 miles to Kingmore Yard. And that is our last objective as far as I know. Alright. We do have a 15 limit coming into the yard. Lovely. I think I have all the manual points set correctly. Let's just triple check because I don't want to go the wrong way. I've done that before. Bunch of rolling stock at Kingmore, a couple of Class 101s, an 87 and a couple of 47s. Thinking back to that yard south of Carlisle where we saw the Northern Transpennine 47, it is actually quite rare to see a Northern Transpennine 47 on either Blackpool branches or Preston Carlisle, because while it can layer in, it just doesn't layer in that often because, well, it's just... To be blunt, the Blackpool and Preston to Carlisle versions are much
much better. Alright. 0.7 miles to go. 15 limit coming up, so I'll shut down the throttle. .6 miles. I'll just let the loco brake bring the speed back gently. Coming into Kingmore. Well, we can't say on time because it didn't give me a time to come in. Oh my goodness, look at all those wagons parked up in the North Kingmore yard. Goodness gracious. $700 yards. Just check one last time. Yeah, check, check, and check. $600 yards. $400 yards. There we go. I do want to try to get an accurate stop since this is the only stop of the day. I want to try to get my stop accuracy as good as possible. I don't think I've ever accessed this smaller siding of yard. I've always accessed this one and this one. Okay. Look, our brake seems to be doing a pretty good job. Yes! Really accurate. Yes, platinum medal! Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes, I'm level 87. That's my favorite train in this game, the Class 87. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Skyhook's new Carlisle Vol.4 down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.